still knows how to get the point across and let's get the job done. Instead of saying, oh, when she says, oh, and I'm so sorry. There's too many sorry people in the world. That's just.
See, and now this is the golden nugget that just happened here because the boss is right here. No, but that's good. That's talking about how you choose to communicate. We assume that our way of communication is the only way, you know? So it's to get to know what kind of communication do you want, and then I'm going to help match it so we can get it done, what we need to get done, when we need to get it done, right? So it's focusing on what is in that control. So now I want you to go back to that same group of threes and see if you could come up with one definition of respect. Slide is this.
Oh,
okay, got it? Do you know, like when you get like that box thing? Yeah, you know, like, no, yeah, like when you get that, I have no idea even what's in it. Yeah, but that's good. Talk about that. Sorry, Betty Crocker and Duck and Hines, right? Everybody's like, you need to keep these. All right, 15 more seconds to come up with this one definition. Five, four, three, two, one. Pens down. So, what was the difference between the process of doing it individually to now doing it as a group? Did you find any differences? And what were they? Easier or harder? Harder. Why? And that's actually what I was going for the American things. We don't listen too well.
I thought it was easier because I couldn't define what I was thinking, and the team helped me to refine and define what I was actually trying to say.
Isn't that a beautiful reflection? Because what's that?
It reflects the group.
Yeah, yeah.
That's how she felt. She felt comfortable.
Right. And it does depend on who those folks are in that group. Imagine, I'm going to bring you to this packet in the back, and I'm not doing this to make you salivate, but if you go to the back, you'll see this page. These are all of Thais's cupcakes. And yes, I'm side selling, because can I get more? No, I'm kidding. But if you look at these, I want you to pick out your top 5 and your least 2 favorite. You'll see where I'm going with this. do you want a piece of paper to take notes on what everybody says?
I know.
It's like, okay, I need to bring these next time. I know, a little surprise for you.
Yeah.
All right, top 5, and then the 2 least favorite. How many of you went to the 2 least favorite first? Raise your hand. Who went to which one are my top 5? So when you say the 2 least, what were they? Raise your hand if you have your 2 least favorite. Gail.
Well, one was the obvious peanut butter. One was peanut butter because I don't like peanut butter.
Okay.
And the other was strawberries because I don't like strawberries either.
Gotcha. So you don't like peanut butter, you don't like strawberries. There might be some people that you don't like peanut butter and you know the names of who that peanut butter is. And you have names for Mr. or Mrs. Strawberry. It's easy to kind of go into that place of, okay, we're working as a team. It's great if you can pick your teammates, right? You don't always get that option. So you have to work with the peanut butter and the strawberries as much as you have to work with, what are some favorites out there? Red velvet. How many like the velvet, red velvet? Oh, there you go. So if only we could have all red velvet cupcakes on our team. Life's not that easy, right? Life's not that easy. How many of you liked the peanut butter one? Interesting. How many of you didn't? That's a 50-50 split. So there you go. How is that like working in a team? What you might think is respectful. All the peanut butters love each other, right? We're great. But yet there's always the other half that don't. So we really need to look through that, okay, yes, it'd be great if we could work individually on everything. You know, just let me do it. You know, get whatever I need to get done. But we know we also need to work on that team. You said it made it a little bit harder to work on the team. And of course here, you worked with the strengths of the team. And you actually said thank you because, oh yeah, you made it clear. You did a positive reframe. How many of you have a trigger, a characteristic trigger in someone else that totally irritates you? You're like, oh yeah, I could write a book. Yeah, we do. We have that. What are some of those triggers?
I'm really neat and organized, so I can't stand people who aren't. I don't like that.
Yeah, okay. Deb?
I don't like people who snap orders at you.
So maybe those micromanagers say, did you do that yet? When are you going to do that? Da-da-da-da. How far are you along? Can you do that now? And you have that list of 30 things. Right? That tipping point, or the melting point, or the boiling point. You name it. You name it. So what were some of those group respect definitions that you came up with? Shout them out.
Trust.
So in one word, respect is trust.
Everybody's working on the same team.
Yep. And there are many leadership books that have been written on that fact. What else? Awareness. Trust, awareness. Wow.
Integrity.
I'm writing these down. These are good, right? Trust, integrity. What else?
Mindfulness.
Mindfulness, awareness. Interesting. So we also have all different definitions for when you work in groups too. Wow. Now it sounds like it's an amendment to the amendment of the Constitution, right? It's like amendment, a bill, you know. So you can see how building a climate of respect can be challenging. What you just went through is something that you can actually take back to your organization and do that simple thing individually, then as a group. Because the conversation that happens between your groups is sometimes more important than what I'm saying up here. And I'm okay with that. Discussion is good because that's how you build trust. So, ready to throw down, girlfriend? Bring it. Wait, sorry, respect. Integrity, trust. Got it.
Yeah.
But see how quickly? I just did the fight or flight response, right? That whole emotional intelligence. We have a class on that, by the way. But and stress management. You know, all those things we need to build, right? So, come on up.
Okay.
I call on Thais because Thais is very health conscious. You will learn a little bit about what makes her unique. Remember, that's one of the things that helped her win. Your uniqueness, not just your team, your uniqueness of the product, AKA service. That's for us. So what do you have?
Okay, so I have carrot cupcakes.
Okay.
And cream cheese frosting.
Okay, take one out. Go ahead. Show everybody.
Right. They're little guys. Thank you.
They're adorable.
So lots of them for you guys to sample.
Yep. And what
So-
kind of ingredients
Okay,
are
so
in your cupcakes?
Our ingredients are, what makes, as a company as a whole, what we try to do is we're based in Chester Springs. Within 40 miles of Chester Springs is our boundary line. And that includes, in this season right now, carrots. So we'll never get carrots at Wegmans because those carrots aren't within 40 miles of Chester Springs. We'll only get carrots from right now the farmer's market because they're root vegetables and we can still do that. Strawberry cupcakes, we only make right now if it's a special request, and we'll say to you, you know, they're not going to be local strawberries because we only do those in the spring. Everything, the milk is local, the eggs are local, and I think that's like the most important thing because when you read about, you guys have, especially milk for me, it just simply grosses me out. I wouldn't want to eat it, so I don't want to give it to other people, but that's like really the thing, local ingredients that really aren't contaminating your body.
So how about the whole gluten-free too? I see you're vegan,
So, yeah.
gluten-free. I'm like, what is all
So
that?
these guys are traditional. The gluten-free, we make our own gluten-free flour, which is, we use garbanzo beans, so it's dried, ground garbanzo bean flour, which is, it's simply, that's all it is. So when you go, I think the most popular store brand is Bob's Red Mill, if you guys have ever experimented around, and they make a lot of different things, but they make an all-purpose gluten-free flour, which if you're gluten-free, it's perfectly safe. It's a perfectly good flour, but just like Molly's box mix, it has ingredients. Just because it's gluten-free doesn't mean it's healthy. And a lot of times I'll have people come up that aren't gluten-free and be like, I'm going to eat a gluten-free vegan cupcake today because I feel like being healthy. And I'm like, totally not the case. Same amount of calories. Like there's, you know, it's just it's an alternative flour. So, so even with the gluten-free vegan though, you want the most simple ingredients. Like if my ingredient list for a cupcake was this long, there would be something wrong. They're simple to make because they're simple ingredients. You don't really need that much. It's the things that you're going to be putting in them, like the local strawberries and the carrots and the spices and all stuff like that that brings the flavor, and not the things you can't pronounce, obviously.
Matthias, that is so hard work to do. Like, you have to go find where these things are and make sure that they're in 40 miles and all this. That is too much work. You know what? Building a culture of respect takes work. I like my box though. You know, you just pull it out, you make it, and you feed it, right? What's in the bag? I don't even know what's in the bag. So what do you get?
I think on every box mix, enriched flour, and then the third word is the keyword bleached. So it literally is, that's not like a false, it actually is bleach. So you're really eating you're eating partial, like bleach. But the second thing is, so like I was saying, the same, if you make a mini cupcake out of this and a mini cupcake the good old fashioned way, they're gonna have the same amount of calories, but it's basically what you're putting in your body and what happens after you eat it that makes it so different. So that enriched means that when you bleach it, it takes out all the minerals out of your flour. So basically that flour is going to turn, as soon as it's in your body, it's going to turn to a sugar, which is going to turn to a fat. So that's, immediately that's what happens because there's no minerals left in the flour. So the hard way is you buy an unbleached flour, and the reason that they do this is for the color, first of all, because if you're going to have a white cupcake per se, you want it to be white. But the other reason is it makes it a really smooth, fluffy cupcake. So the quick fix for that is you buy unbleached flour and you put it in the oven and you actually bake your flour for like 15 minutes on a high temperature, and it doesn't take out the minerals, but it makes it smooth.
Wow.
So it's a process.
Write
It's a
that
whole-
down, bakers.
It's a whole different thing. But
Yeah. Yeah.
that actually, you still have the minerals in your flour, so it's not like you're eating a health food. I'm not going to ever say that, but
Yeah.
you, at least it's not I mean, you're obviously eating fat, but you're not eating as much fat because that flour is not turning to sugar.
Wonderful. Well,
So,
well,
among many other things in there,
yeah.
food dye, and
Yeah.
you don't want to get me too started.
Yeah, not especially the red velvet. You'd probably go off on those.
Yeah, well, we don't use food dye in our red velvet.
Exactly, exactly. And so,
Don't ever eat one that has our food dye.
yeah, exactly.
How are you getting the color?
Beet powder and beet juice.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's all to do.
It is all, we make it all from beets. And we make it in huge batches, but yeah, red food coloring is like the worst thing.
Yeah.
It's actually banned in like over 30 European areas, so yeah, I mean.
Yeah, so everyone go home to your cabinets and clean out, right? This is what you got from Just Desserts today. But while I bring that together, would you like to start passing them out?
Of course.
So those are Thaises, and I did overemphasize the whole, oh my gosh, that's so much work. But that is what it is about building this culture. Many of us want the quick fix. It's like, come on, why can't we just do this? But we need to have the awareness, we need to have the mindfulness that y'all have to be talking the same language. Thais and I today are talking very different languages through our desserts. But that's not unlike when you're trying to build that culture. You have subcultures within it. And sometimes it's the red dye, I'll just use the metaphor, that kind of adds that toxicity. So that's gourmet, what you're getting right now. This is my masterpiece. Painter's tape to just keep it band-aided together. Think about cultures. Your teams. Sometimes we do just throw band-aids on, right? It's like, I was rude to that person, but they'll forget about it. You just keep on going on. This would actually probably be duct tape, in that situation. And then just throwing saran wrap in, right? Who cares? There you go. You have the big ones, right? Then I have the little ones. Oh, I like you. I'm going to give you this. Oh, Joe, you get one of these because that's all you deserve. But so often when we're working in teams, those feelings, those emotions come up. Some intentionally, some unintentional. I mean, I'm grateful to have studied emotional intelligence pretty deeply, but there was a time where I took everything personal. Everything. Well, they mustn't like me. What is there not to like? I'm wonderful. Right? That was 10 years ago. Come on, 10 years ago. But, trying to seek someone's intention is in our control. Building a culture of respect requires us to sometimes do the stretching. What is the intent to that? We often read between the lines saying, oh, he doesn't like me, she doesn't like me, or I heard that person is a mess, and I'm going to think that person's a mess. Judgment comes in. Oh, go to that person because you don't want to go to that person. Work around that one. That's subcultural, toxic environments. What do we do with that? They come in all different sizes, right? And shapes. Ages, we talked about ages, stages, whatever. Yep. You know what? I'm not even going to pass these around because I don't want you to feel obligated to take one. But no, yes, I am, because my intention's there. Don't see, but this is a test. Here, I'm giving it to David, and he has to be strong enough to say, you know what? That was a good effort, Molly. You don't have to say that because I'm all good with that. But not everybody would have been that way. You need to eat one of my cupcakes. I worked really hard yesterday to make one, and I knew you were going to be here, and then you didn't take one. Healthy conflict is good. No, you don't have to. No, you don't, right? Okay. But you know, wouldn't it be great to be able to have these culture of respect dialogues like this? It's lighter. It's fresher. It's more open. It's in a non-threatening environment. We don't always get that. We don't always get that. So, with your mouths full, I'm going to put you back to work. In those groups of 3s, come up with 5 rules that you think, hey, we're going back to the golden rule, right? But now we're doing sub-rules. And this is a good one, come up with 5 rules that you think if everyone would follow, there would be a culture of respect. 5 rules. 5 rules. Is that mine? Thank you. Yeah, I'm not even eating mine. Yeah. See, that's another symptom of dysfunction, right? The Coke doesn't eat their cupcakes. Yeah. Oh. See, people want to go to the happier cupcakes, right? The more respectful cupcake. It's like respect the pouch. Did you ever hear that? Yeah, you respect the pouch.
We're coming up with 5 rules.
I always have the same reaction with your cupcakes. It's like, I can't describe it. It's just like, yeah. Oh. I told Ty today that I was going to see Miss Thais, and he's like, I know her. She makes the best cupcakes. He was like, yeah. He's like, he feels so honored. He's 8. Yeah. But he's having fun with the Molly Sunshine Group because I get to meet really, I attract cool, we attract cool people, and it's like, to an 8-year-old, it's like, wow. Thank you. Got that on camera? Good. All right, we have 1 minute. Yes, 1 minute left to come up with those 5 rules. All right. So what are those 5 rules? First of all, how many of you have been able to even come up with 5 rules? Raise your hand. It's tough, right? It's tough. For those who came up with 5, would you be so gracious to share what those 5 are?
Listen.
Listen.
Be open.
Be open.
Empathy to an extent.
Okay.
Tone of voice.
Tone of voice.
What else? Trust.
Trust. Excellent. I think it's excellent. It's working in the team to getting that buy-in, right? What does that mean? How about in the back? 5.
Awareness.
Okay.
Feel like be aware. Listen. Clearly communicate. Fair. And be open.
Excellent. Again, I'm going to go back to planting seeds for your future success in your organization. You just defined for your team of 3 what those rules might be. So every action, every whatever would go back to those 5 as to how is that measuring up. Some of you may have heard my program Fish Philosophy. Well, it's not mine, it's an international program called the Fish Philosophy. It's choose your attitude, be there, make their day. So choose your attitude. So it's those and play. So those are the 5. They made up theirs. You just made up yours. So if you are looking to build that culture, you need to talk about what that even looks like. What does that culture of respect even look like? What is in your control? What is in your immediate control? You know this answer. What is it? Yes?
Your own behavior.
Your own behavior. What is the second thing that is closest to being in your control? Okay, so listening to others, or maybe in your team, your direct team. Your attitudes within that team. Absolutely. It gets tough when we start looking outside. Students, parents, other departments. Your control becomes less and less to influence those behaviors and climate of respect. So again, we're going to go over a little bit of self-care at the end, but it does start with what is in your direct control. Again, studies have shown that many of us spend 80% of our time focusing on things that aren't in our control. Why on earth do we do that to ourselves? Because you know what? Really what you're doing are eating my icky cupcakes. And I'm okay with that, but don't. I'm telling you not to eat them. I didn't eat them. I ate yours. Just saying. So now that you've established a few of those rules for respect in your group, and that's okay if you have 2 or 3, whatever, I want you to take it to the next level. Because we could say, here are the rules, but how you interpret that rule can be different. So what are some behaviors? Just come up with 5. 5 behaviors that are box cupcakes, toxic. I hope I don't get sued by doing this. I'm protected, right? But anyhow, box versus gourmet. 5 positive behaviors, 5 negative behaviors that are counterproductive to building that climate of respect. Got it? I totally put that out to the universe. I so don't want that. Miss Betty is going to come after me. Five toxic and 5 non-toxic. One more minute and we'll share.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Let's come back. And how many of you found that? How many of you found that the the toxic behaviors were easier to write down than? Yeah, because you know, it's right there. What were they? Name a few of those toxic.
Yeah, like assume, being stubborn, being closed-minded, being structured like my way is the only way, and dismissing.
And what was the last one? Dismissing, like your idea,
Right.
saying we've done that already. But they probably cut you off before that you even completed your thought, right? Ouch. Any other ones?
Kind of along the same lines, you had negativity, and there's jealousy involved, being some self-centered, and when people are inflexible.
Yeah. So what happens? We talked about within each other's team. What happens when some of these toxic behaviors happen with other folks outside your area? Because there's some evil things that we just talked about there, you put out there, right? What do you do?
That was my question. See, in building a team, your team, and creating a climate of respect seems easier than when you have the occasional contact outside where you have to interact. You don't have that opportunity to build a team.
Absolutely. I have a great case in point. I love how things happen like the day before, and it gives me great case studies to bring in. This was sent to me in an email from someone outside our department, our division. It says, I've done an informal poll, and I think we need to offer some active listening sessions for all employees and require participation. Toxic, non-toxic? I think we know. So when that occasion comes up, and it's when it does, because you do only have control over your own area, what do? Do you let it just roll over? They were just venting, right? Or will that person come back with more? How I handled this scenario was probably something that this person did not expect. And that's a part of building a climate of respect. We're a university citizen first. At least that's how I choose to see it. That's how you want to see yourself. But I do. So when this happens, I give it as an opportunity to teach. After she got this, do you think I heard anything back from her? Not at all. But it's positive, because what are the chances that that one individual is going to come back at me with that tone? With that, I gave this person something to think about. Not knowing what is driving this statement, my suggestion is to start with what's in your control. We are all at fault for not being active as listeners as we could be, myself included. It's asking the question why, and what we can do to help increase the transfer of knowledge, one person, one group at a time. It's also understanding where the customer is coming from. While we may think what we need them to do is the most important thing, they need to do. Unfortunately, you don't always see it and lose sight of things. My guess is 90% is unintentional. So I just said you might get some valuable feedback from attending this session today. She's not here. But as you work through other people's perceived limitations and build a climate of respect. Because so often, it's easy to push and complain and make it fester and put it onto other people. Can you believe so-and-so? And even get the head going. I've seen some of that too. But how do you bring it back to that person also needs to model the way of respect? So with that, I could have said something very different. I chose that. And what you'll find is you'll attract less negativity, and they'll be changing their approach or not be approaching at all. I had another case in point. I was doing over and above what my job was, and this individual said, "You're just trying to con